Welcome back to the Vintage Firearm series where we upload almost daily on Rumble and YouTube less often. Um, Basically what we have here today is a Model 11 by Remington, but what really is it? Well, first of all, the mere fact that it's even called a Model 11 is a little odd because they started producing them somewhere around 1908. Technically, they didn't have the name Model 11 on them. They just said like auto shotgun or something like that. But it was the exact same thing, which in fact was a John Browning design. So if you can't afford a true blue Browning A5, this might be an alternative for you. Let's go ahead and look at it today. And to be honest with you, it's a very good shotgun. This particular one is a 12 gauge made in June of 1933. It's kind of wonderful. Somebody has used it, I don't know, probably for trap at some point in time. If you can see the finish variant down on the end. I do recommend those who like that extra protection and the leather that goes on there. I like the way it looks too, to be honest. Use it when you're using the gun, but then afterwards take it off. Otherwise, you really destroy the finish and the look of the original finish of the gun. So just a small thought, consider not leaving it on all the time. I don't see a real advantage to that. What we have here is a very interesting gun. There are some variations to this than on the A5, and I'm going to talk about that in a moment and a little bit more later on. One of the variants is the fact the way the safety works. Now, they call this a suicide safety. It depends who you talk to. If you ask me, it's not. But it may be in the wrong hands, it would be. But actually, for somebody who shoots on a regular basis, I actually prefer this over the crossbow method. Now, they had variants of it. Remington was kind of like known for the Model 10 and also this one here. So the principle was that you never put your finger inside the trigger guard unless you're going to take a shot. If you think of it in that way, it is the safest place to put the safety. Now, of course, before you load it, you put the safety on. That makes sense, right? But then when you get ready to take your shot, then you put your finger in the trigger guard, you flick it off safety, and then just a fractional move back, and you're on the trigger. It actually, in my opinion, is a very safe way of doing it. Now, FN for the A5, they had you come back out of the trigger guard and press it right here. They had a nice big button there to push, which was nice, but you have to come out of the trigger guard and then come back. So it's not as natural. You're bending your finger quite a bit, and then when you go back to take your shot, you've got to go out, where if it's inside the trigger guard, you go ahead and you just give it a flick, and then you come right back. You're right there. You know where your finger's at. You're not going to pull the trigger foolishly. And these are things that should be taught, and you should teach yourself these things from the very beginning of using firearms. It's not like you're in there, the old saying goes, a bull in a china shop. This is a finesse. If you're going to do anything about finesse, it should be working with your firearms. And the most important thing out of all of those things, you want to be a good shot, finesse when you're taking your shot. You want to be gentle on the trigger. And it's something that gets used to because, hey, it's going to be a big bang, man. Sometimes if I'm handling a certain gun, and I'm not sure if it's going to go off right or something, I'm a little nervous about it. Or if it's like really big or powerful gun, I can have a little, that's something you need to work yourself out of. And it's something that takes time, and I don't think it ever ends exactly, but you know, it can get close. If you're with a new heavy duty gun or a gun that's been giving you trouble, maybe you would go ahead and be nervous about it and have that flinch. Okay, so basically that's it. Let's go outside, and I'm not going to weigh this today because I did weigh it earlier just for the kicks of it. I was going to weigh it against an A5, and that makes sense, right? I'm going to weigh it against an A5, except for one thing. There was 1 ounce, well, a little over, a little over 1 ounce difference between this and a 12 gauge A5. So, but it's kind of funny because I believe they have more parts on theirs, you know, for the to load up your first shot, and so that's just the way it is. There was more finesse with that model than the others. These were more of a mass-produced type thing for the best price possible. So let's go out. We'll take a couple of shots with it. We'll see how it goes. And we'll see you outside right now. Let's go. Okay, so here we are. Let's go ahead and load our friend up. And all these load up a little differently. Let's see how many this will take. Okay, it's got the plug in it, so we'll just be able to shoot the 2 shots. I've got the my tin cans all stacked up there. Hey, what the heck, huh? Okay, we've got 1 in the chamber. Again, it's going to be a natural progression. I'm just going to go ahead, stick my finger in here, remove the safety. Now that's ready to fire. Now I suppose if you were putting it off safety, your finger could slip, but you just need to know your firearm and put a little more pressure towards the top. And I don't think that would happen. In any case, you always point your firearm in a safe direction. Okay. So let's go ahead. What am I going to hit first? I think I'll go to the left, and hopefully we won't touch the right, and we'll have the second shot to the one to the right. Sound fair? Okay. I line up my target, take off my safety, and there we go. Not too bad, I would say. I would say that was a successful shooting. I don't see what could be more safe than that. I love this gun. Cool. Let's go back inside, and I want to show you the difference in the safeties and stuff like that, okay? So we'll go back inside and we'll see you there. Bye. Okay, well that was pretty good, wasn't it? You know, one of the things about this being at a full choke, and by full choke, this was not the tightest full choke out there. That's pretty much, I measured this one and the A5 that I have sitting right there. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And they're both about the same. They're between full choke and, you know, modified. It's just what somebody calls a full choke. I like a really tight choke for me personally. And the mere fact that if I was going in there with a cylinder bore, I probably, or something close to that, I probably wouldn't be able to pick off one target and not splatter the other with something. But in any case, it makes shooting a bit more accurate and a bit more exciting for me. Now, I did want to talk about this one more time, right about here, about that safety, and that's why I have the other gun here. Now, John Browning had, of course, this I know to be empty, you know, no one needs a freak. John Browning, of course, I'm not going to second guess anything he does because he was a genius and absolutely perfect. Just personal preference, that's all I'm talking about here. Is that when your finger is on the trigger, this is where my hand falls, and it may have something to do with me personally and the way I'm built. But when I'm going to remove the safety, I have to bend that digit way back, and easy enough to do, but not quite as natural as if I went up here to push it out. So that would be where I would prefer it if you want to do a cross-bolt safety. Me, I have no problem with the Widowmaker, okay? And everybody, they all called it the Widowmaker, but I don't know. I'm fine with it. I ain't going to shoot nobody with it, because my finger never goes in that trigger guard, and yours shouldn't either. Okay, so let's go back here for a second. And of course, I'm never set up because that's the way things are. So we're going to we'll take a moment here. Still don't have any gun cleaning, but you never set away a gun. I can't tell you. I'm going to say that over and over again, because I see so many times I will go into a gun shop and I'll ask them if they have a snake. And if they don't have one, generally I have one with me, and I'll go out to the vehicle and get it, even if I'm only halfway interested in the gun. It's just something I feel like I'm doing. That's for the gun. It's not for me. You don't leave that stuff in there. And so maybe we'll we need to find a place to throw that. And so then we're going to check it out, as always. And of course, I don't generally buy guns that have bad barrels, but this one's perfect. Yep. So I bought one the other day that had a bad barrel, and I'm going to be showing it to you. It's a very rare gun. I've had the opportunity just lately to buy some very, very, very rare guns. And when I say rare, it may be a common gun, but a rare date. For instance, first year issue. And so that's always a good one to get. And I just bought, it has yet to come in, but I hope to have it soon, a really nice condition with a couple of footnotes. A Model 64 Winchester, first year production. And so that's very rare. So in any case, in my mind, it's rare because generally it's in marvelous, unbelievable condition, but somebody has cleaned it, and they also got a chip out of the stock. And if that ever happens to you, first of all, whenever you set down a gun, it's very gentle. You'll never see me, new, old, anything. You'll never see me just like drop the gun to the floor. It's that very last couple of inches that take me more time than the rest. All of this should take you less time than the last inch or so. And if you do it that way, you'll never have a problem. And if you don't do it that way, you're going to damage your gun eventually. It's only a matter of time. And if you ever do that, you should save that piece, because this piece to this gun was not saved. So now you have the option. Are you going to go ahead? It was cleaned unprofessionally. So I'm talking about the Model 64. It was cleaned unprofessionally, and I'm not going to, I have yet to see it and put my hands on it, but my inclination is to say that's what happened to it. That is what it is. The chip in the stock, that's the gun is 91 years old. That's what bad things are going to happen to it. But somebody was not very good to that gun. I think they meant well, but they did bad things. And that's just because people don't understand what they need to know. And the cleaning of a gun we're probably going to be talking about that in the future, about how you clean a gun and how you don't clean a gun. And so in any case, I've really enjoyed today's episode. I hope you have. We've got so many great episodes coming up. It's really unbelievable. I hope you'll subscribe over on Rumble. it would mean a lot to me. And Rumble's the place. Rumble's where it's happening. You know, they're all about free speech and everything. If you are a gun lover, you should be on Rumble. There's no question about it. If you sub me over there, you're going to see my videos come up in a very timely fashion. At presently, we're doing one a day. I hope to keep that up as long as possible. I have to go on a business trip soon that will interfere with it, but there'll be still some going up, but just not as many. And but in any case, that's maybe 3 weeks, a month away. But in any case, sub over on Rumble, watch over on Rumble. We appreciate you so much. And you know, if you want to sub over on YouTube, yeah, okay, fine. I appreciate you, but I really appreciate it when you sub over on Rumble. Every time my sub goes up 1 count on Rumble, I get all excited. It makes my heart pound, and I'm so excited. It may be smaller over there, but you know, we're all about the same things. We're about free speech, and we're about gun rights. And you should be allowed to shoot a gun in your backyard. If you ain't hurting nobody, then you ain't hurting nobody. Okay, you can't say it simpler than that. Don't mean to sound like Yodi or something. Yoga Berra, what was his name? I don't know. Somebody can correct me on that. He was the man of funny sayings. You take it easy. And I'm going to see you tomorrow, but only over on Rumble. And if you go over to YouTube, you're going to see some that went up on Rumble a while back ago. And but if you want to see the real-time stuff, then you're definitely going to go over to Rumble and see it. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Bye-bye.